Cam Rogers here alongside Tom Downey. It's time to get through all of the latest NFL rumors, and we'll start things off with one in Ndamukong Suh. Did that visit to the Raiders go down? Or shall we say, as it says on the screen, did he cancel the visit with the Oakland Raiders? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
4 Goodell heads, Tom. We feel pretty confident about this.
I guess he decided to not go to the Oakland Raiders, which, if you're the Saints, Titans, or Rams, you're like, all right, we made the list. We have a real chance to land Suh. I think he's an incredible talent, as we just mentioned kind of earlier when we discussed his free agency options there. So no Raiders, crossed them off the list. At that point, it seems to me like you're getting closer for him to actually making a decision and signing with a team. And if that's the case, one of those teams are going to be really happy right now. All three, by the way, I think have had a really good offseasons already. Getting Suh, I think, will put them at that next level of an even better offseason and a downright great one.
All right, so 4 Goodell heads on that rumor. Let's get to the second rumor here. Allen Hurns, is he headed to the Dallas Cowboys? Well, he went through a visit with them today. Maybe it's still going on. We're giving this 2 Goodell heads. People are talking, so firmly in that rumor category. Tom, what do you think the likelihood of this is going to happen?
I don't know. I think Hurns is going to take his time. I don't think he's going to immediately sign with any team. But I do think the Cowboys are in the mix here. My hope would be as a compliment to one Dez Bryant. There's been some buzz that he could replace Dez, which doesn't make any sense for me whatsoever. But I think Hurns and going to Dallas first does help him, and there does help the Cowboys actually have a chance to land him. But I think he's going to take multiple visits here, and I wouldn't really worry about Deontay Thompson because, well, yeah, he caught a lot of passes for the Bills, but they were just bad. Yeah,
he wasn't very good last year. So 2 Goodell heads for Allen Hurns. You may be wondering what those Goodell heads mean. They indicate the accuracy of the rumor. So let's get into the rumor explainer here. 0 Goodell heads. It's fake news. We are not believing in that rumor. 1 Goodell head. We're giving it small shred of truth. 2 Goodell heads, as you just saw. People are talking firmly in that rumor category. 3 Goodell heads, more probable than not that it is true. And then 4 Goodell heads, Tom, we are very, very confident that it has happened or is in the process of happening. So there you go. Let's continue now with the next rumor. Martellus Bennett, could he be retiring? Well, we're going to give this one Goodell head because, Tom, I think he's just playing a game right now.
Well, that's what Bennett does.
He wants to continue to play football, but I think he's just essentially saying right now he's not getting the value that he wants.
Well, maybe he shouldn't have quit on his last team. Maybe that would have helped out his value. Just a thought.
It's a good thought.
I don't want Martellus Bennett on my team because if we don't have as good a year as we thought that we were going to, he's going to complain that he's hurt and he's going to retire and that he's hurt and he shouldn't be playing. And then the Packers say, okay, well, we're just going to cut you. Oh, I'm okay to go play for the Patriots. Like, yeah. Come on, Bennett. I've gone on my rants about him in the past. I'm going to hold off on it. I don't think he's done playing. I think he's going to try and play again this offseason, but maybe he's going to demand starting money or a starting job, and maybe a team won't give him that. And he says, okay, well, then I'm just not going to play at all.
All right. We'll see what happens with Martellus Bennett. 1 Goodell head for him actually retiring. How about Cam Meredith? What is the latest with him? And he is, surfing on the open market right now, and as we have some potentiality that he could go to the Colts, he could also go to the Ravens, so... Yeah. We're firmly in the rumor category. We're bouncing around here. 2 Goodell heads.
Yeah, so we'll get that graphic here fixed in just a second for you guys. But there's an interest in both the Colts and the Baltimore Ravens on this one here. So we'll start with the Ravens side of things, and then we'll fix that Colts graphic because he had taken a visit to the Colts last week, or earlier this week is where he had first gone. Now he's taken one to the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll start with the Ravens side of things, Cam. As we talk about it, Cam, the Ravens seem to want all of the receivers right now.
Yeah, they do. So they have Willie Snead, perhaps, in their crosshairs as well. So the Ravens, of course, recently bringing in Michael Crabtree. We know Joe Flacco needs weapons. That aerial attack last year was putrid and pukey and gross. So I think Ozzie Newsome understands that. They're bringing in some new wide receivers.
Tell me how you really feel, Cam.
It was awful. It was awful. So 2 Goodell heads for Meredith.
Hey,
perhaps
maybe with all those interesting receivers, maybe they actually would have kept Ryan Grant, too. I still doubt it.
Unbelievable. All right, let's get to the next rumor here. Tom, the Carolina Panthers, they could be going for a record amount here.
$2.5 billion is the rumor on this one here. We're going to give this one 3 heads as well. this would be a record-setting sale of an NFL franchise, for at least for U.S. pro sports franchises. $2.5 billion. Cam, how much can you and I drum up to help support this this buy?
I'll throw in 50 cents.
All right, I can throw in $5. I'll whatever. I'm not good with math, but I'll do a lot more than that. Yeah, this is a lot of money for an NFL team, and this is the Panthers. It's not like the Dallas Cowboys or like the New York Giants or any one of those more major market teams. I put that in quotes, by the way. Also, according to the report from Bloomberg, Steph Curry's group out of the running to buy the Panthers. So no Curry as a minority owner in the Carolina Panthers, but this would be an absolutely massive amount of money for the Panthers to sell for. And I think it's pretty likely as well. NFL and pro sports franchises sell for a lot these days when they're actually available.
All right, let's get to the next rumor here. The Philadelphia Eagles, a little draft talk with them. Do they want to draft an impact wide receiver? Tom, we're giving this 2 Goodell heads.
Yeah, this was the report from Lance Zierlein of NFL.com. So we'll go with 2. I find it interesting because they have Alshon Jeffrey. Nelson Aguilar moved into the slot. They did trade away Torrey Smith, but they spent 2 picks in the middle, on the early part of day 3 last year on Mack Hollins of North Carolina and Shelton Gibson of West Virginia. Now, the Eagles don't have a lot of needs, Cam. They've got a really well-rounded roster, a lot of guys signed long-term, including Jeffrey. But maybe they spend number 32 overall on a wide receiver. There are some decent ones to be the number 2 guy. Alshon Jeffrey, whomever out wide, and Aguilar in the slot. Maybe it's someone like a James Washington, a DJ Moore if he's somehow on the board at that point, or a Christian Kirk would be interesting. I think the Eagles, though, could look at tackle or linebacker as well. They are somewhat thin in those areas with Jason Peters aging at tackle. But I could see it happening. I don't know if it's quite all that likely quite yet, though.
All right, so firmly in that rumor category. That is rumor number 6. Let's go into rumor number 7 now. Could Sam Darnold go number 1 overall to the Cleveland Browns? We are giving this 3 Goodell heads. Pretty likely that this could go down. This coming from Matt Miller on Twitter saying, quote, Darnold is the favorite to go number 1. I'll be shocked if he isn't the pick. That coming from an NFL director of college scouting. So Miller reporting about that on Twitter. Very interesting.
If you follow along Joe Thomas, he has said in the past that he got the vibe from the front office that Darnold was their number 1 guy. They wanted to see him throw. He had a nice pro day showing.
In the rain.
I don't put a whole lot of stock in pro days because it's shorts and a t-shirt. Like, yeah, unless you're really bad, you should throw pretty well at your pro day. The Browns do have Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, so they can take Darnold, and in reality, I think sit him for a year. Darnold is not pro-ready. He's not as ready as a guy like Josh Rosen is, but I do think the Browns will take Darnold number 1 overall. This is something you had way earlier in the offseason camp, so yeah. I'll give you a shout out there. I think Darnold makes a lot of sense for the Browns with what they're trying to do on offense. Taylor is their win-now quarterback, and Darnold is their franchise future going forward. I think Darnold makes a lot of sense for the Browns, and I agree with Miller and that director of college scouting. I would be surprised if Darnold isn't the number 1 pick. It's not quite 4 heads yet because A, draft hasn't happened. B, maybe a team goes crazy and throws the Browns all of the draft picks to move up a handful of spots, and the Browns say, okay, we'll trade down. Again, I don't think that's likely. Maybe Darnold gets hurt or something crazy as well. There's always the possibility for more chaos. Maybe there's a Laramie Tunsil type tape with Sam Darnold, though I somehow doubt that'll ever happen again because NFL players are making a good job of keeping themselves with better players around them. So I think Darnold's going to be the number 1 pick overall in this year's draft. That's just kind of the way I see it right now.
Tom has spoken. We want you guys speaking out. Who is the best quarterback in the draft? Give us a heart for Sam Darnold, a like for Josh Rosen, laughing face for Baker Mayfield, wow face for Josh Allen. You could point to strengths and strengths and strengths for different players here, and you can also point to different weaknesses as well. So it's a hard decision. I think the most polished quarterback in the draft overall, like talking about leadership and all of that, is Baker Mayfield. But he's not going to go number 1 or number 2 in the draft.
I could see Baker actually being the last of those 4 guys off the board. And look, with Josh Allen, your strengths are he looks good in shorts. Stats are for losers. He's got a rocket arm. He's a born winner. But I'm not a big Josh Allen fan. I agree with you. I'd rather have Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen on my team.
All right, so let's get to rumor number 8, continuing on with this draft theme here. The Bills and Josh Rosen. What's the deal with this, Tom? We're giving it 2 Goodell heads.
It's been reported earlier in the week that Josh Rosen had worked out with the Browns and the Giants. The Bills apparently a little bit more stealthily Also worked out Josh Rosen on Sunday. Maybe that's your little tell in a series of smoke screens that is the pre-draft season that the Bills want Josh Rosen. If then the caveat here though with Josh Rosen is if the Bills want him, they're going to have to move up. There's no way he falls to number 12. There's no way he falls out of the top 5. And I think what we'll see happen in the actual NFL draft, Cam, I think you're going to see go quarterback at number 1, quarterback, of course, at number 3, either a trade up at number 2 or at number 4, or at number 4 potentially. One of those two, I think there'll be a trade as well, and then at least number 5. I think you will see 4 quarterbacks go in the top 5 of this year's drafts to the following teams. Browns and Jets, of course. Denver's an option, and then it's either the Giants or the Bills. If the Bills, they are showing their hand that they want a quarterback. That's why they made the deal with the Bengals. I think they like Rosen. They can go get him at number 2, but as you saw with the Colts and the Jets, it's going to be really expensive. I mean, you're talking both your first-round picks.
A lot of draft capital.
A second and a third, and then probably a future second, if not a future first to move up. And I think if you're the Giants, you're like, all right, this is great. Quarterbacks going 1 and 3. We're either going to take our quarterback or maybe trade down and get all of the picks.
You know who I think will be the ultimate X factor in that top 10, Tom? I think the Giants really will be. Because it's either going to be a quarterback or it's going to be Saquon. And depending on what happens there, the Jets kind of react off of it.
I would not rule out Quentin Nelson, by the way, in that discussion. I do think that they like Barkley, but remember that they lost really 2 of their best interior linemen. They do need a guard, and Nelson, he's the best player in this year's draft as far as I'm concerned. But if I'm the Giants, I'm still going quarterback, but if the Bills offer you a lot, maybe you try and win now and then worry about the quarterback later, which is not the route I would go, but I think the Giants are actually considering that.
All right, so let's talk about this rumor here about Baker Mayfield. Could he be going to the Miami Dolphins? We're giving this one Goodell head, saying a small shred of truth to it, Tommy, did work out for Miami. Yeah,
I think this might be the Dolphins doing their due diligence. I just don't see Baker Mayfield falling out of the top 5. Because if you're Denver at 5 and Mayfield's on the board, I think they take him. If a team doesn't trade up above them to take him instead. So I think the Dolphins are doing their due diligence. You'll see teams like the Chargers and the Cardinals also work out some quarterbacks. I just have a very difficult time seeing Miami going up to get Baker Mayfield after kind of redoing the Ryan Tannehill deal. Now, I think there's interest there, but I think in the end for Miami, with what the price is going to be, I think they'll say, we're okay. We'll try and let Tannehill be the guy. If he gets hurt again or struggles, we'll worry about the quarterback in the future. I just don't think Miami's going to sacrifice what it takes to go up and get Baker Mayfield, get into that top 5. They don't have the same available resources like the Buffalo Bills do, for example.
I think the Bills have a lot of good bargaining chip ahead of them.
They're in good shape to go get their quarterback.
Right. All right, once again, folks, throw in those votes about who is the best quarterback in the draft. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that reaction button in the comments section below. But more draft news coming up, of course, here on Chat Sports. Cam Rogers here alongside Tom Downey. Be sure to follow us on Twitter.